Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV for another episode of Weekly Surgery at the Albert JTV practice in Southeast London. Won't tell you the exact location though. But people, before we get into it, let's smash the intro. And there you have it, people. Happy Thursday evening. Another episode of Weekly Surgery, episode 15, people. As I always say, people, the obligatories, don't just touch the like button. Smash the like button out of the ballpark, man, and get them algorithms up. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And people, as you can see, the Instagram and the Twitter handles going along the bottom of the screen. So if you haven't followed me already, go and do it now, multitask, people. But as you can see, amazing community, football community, Arsenal community. Even people outside of Arsenal watch this Weekly Surgery. But I've got an amazing special guest with me. We finally crossed paths at the Gooner versus Cancer event. Was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Man, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
We've had a new prime minister, 2 Chelsea managers, new royals. It's been a mad 2 weeks, Albert. Really,
no, you're right, James. It has, me. But no, James, it's a pleasure to meet you at the event. I didn't even know he's even going to be there. To be fair,
I stand out, don't I? I can't hide.
Yeah. James, I've got to meet your beautiful self. Great to meet you and chat to you, and put a face to a name. And welcome to Weekly Surgery and your first time on Albert JTV. Welcome, my friend.
Oh, I'm blessed. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure to get you on. The link up should happen time ago, people. But you know what I always say to people, James, I don't know if you agree with the YouTube thing. It's not that people don't want to collaborate. It's sometimes it's just getting the time to do it.
Yes.
And it will happen. And I knew it would happen with me and you. And better late than never.
Oh,
you know, when we're top of the league.
Exactly.
Richard Keys, if you're watching, which you're probably not, good evening to you, sir. But James, no, it's a pleasure to get you on, man. Let's sort of delve right into it, really. Before I do that, now, people, as you can probably see, I'm donning a very, very fantastic T-shirt design.
Oh, I'm glad.
Senesketches.
I'm glad you've done this.
Yeah, because I met the amazing Fran at the same event that me and James were at a few weeks ago. A fantastic, talented artist. Big up Ruth Beck Art as well. As you can see, I'm wearing one of the amazing T-shirts, which I did post on my social media yesterday, and I'll retweet it again. But what I'll do is, I haven't put it in a link already. I'll put Fran's details to go and check out her amazing fine artwork and her amazing T-shirts design. Sorry. The only trouble I had was thinking what color to get, but I thought, you know what, let's get the black and white print. Well, people, go and check out Fran senesketches. Amazing young lady, man. Fran, if you're watching, which you're probably not, you're too busy doing art and whatever. Much love to you, and keep up the fantastic work you're doing.
Yeah, she's done that Arteta picture this week, man. It's incredible. Really incredible.
100%.
I like time lapse videos anyway. I find them very soothing. But just when someone's, do you know what I mean? When someone's really good at something, and especially art, and you watch it, it's unbelievable.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well said, James. Yeah, Goody G talks in the building. Happy birthday for yesterday, my friend. Yeah, good to see you in there, Ronnie.
Oh, another Virgo in the building. Love him.
So, James, let's delve right into it, man. I called it Arteta Report. So, obviously, because this is the first time I've got you on, so this actually makes the show pretty easy to talk to you and ask you certain things. We'll start with Arteta. What was your first thoughts in terms of when he was linked with the Arsenal job, and also, firstly, what's your immediate thoughts in terms of the first time round, and obviously him getting the job the second time round? That makes sense. So, what was your thoughts and feelings at first?
First time round, I honestly believed that he had no chance. I thought that this is way too soon.
Yeah.
And I know that, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I know that a lot of certain people at the club were pushing for that. But then the old regime, which is now long gone, and thankfully, that's another podcast for another day. I know you're on a schedule, so I won't even get into that side. They pushed against it. And again, they went for a man that was relatively quite cheap. I'm not gonna dwell on it. He was a cheaper option. And apparently he wooed them with a PowerPoint presentation about all the players and everything else like that. And then all of a sudden he got rid of half of them. I couldn't believe, I'm going to build the team around Aaron Ramsey, and then the first opportunity he gets, Aaron Ramsey goes. So, but like I've always said, Albert, I've done it myself. Some people are just great at interview. I've been there sometimes, and I'm like, how have I managed it? I'm like, bloody hell, I've done it again. I've conned my way through this one. So, second time round, I thought
we knew he was definitely coming, in it.
Yeah, and do you know what? I thought that the way it was going, it was so, hate using that word, but toxic is the word I will use. That's the best way to describe it. And they thought, ex-captain, he knows the club quite well. He knows some of the young players because obviously before he went to City, he was there at the academy for a bit as well, doing bits. And what better way to sort of get fans on your side and give you more time than to go, I love the youth that we've got, but there's a reason why we've done it, because it does afford you more time. I'm not blinkered enough to think that we're only going this way with all the young players because it's amazing to do. No, it's also because it sort of gives, it's not a way out or an excuse, but you know what I mean? It gives you a bit more time. But no, I have serious reservations about the guy even still in terms of his in-game management. And that come to a head for me in the Man United game.
No, well said. No, you know what? I don't want to say too much because I don't think the show's actually out yet. That we did the Gooner Talk TV, so I think he has scheduled it. Yeah, so we kind of spoke about Mikel Arteta. I don't want to give away too much. Tom will have a go at me. He'll probably message me in a minute. But I think my thoughts, and it's the interesting one, James, because I think as fast forward through like his time at Arsenal now, I think this is his third season now, Mikel Arteta.
Is it three and a, well, it's like three and a half, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think, if I speak for myself and not other Arsenal fans, if anyone that's seen my content and the way I speak about Mikel Arteta, I like to think he's very balanced. You're never ever going to see him in the timeline, talk about him like he's the Archangel Gabriel and see, I told you so. I told you he's going to be a good manager. I haven't got time for entertain that kind of conversation. But then in the other spectrum, I'm not, I always question sometimes, James, for some people, I don't think it's footballing reasons with this guy. For some reason, for some Arsenal fans, I don't know what it is. They've got to be in their bonnet about this guy. They just don't like him. And it doesn't matter what the results are. And I don't get that. But I also said, James, I'll come back to you again. I think that one of the biggest reasons for that is, I know people talk about some of the great players that have played for our club, and then they remember Arteta at Arsenal, and he played for us at a period where he wasn't particularly that great. And I hear that argument, but then I think, well, I remember the Mikel Arteta at Everton before the ACL injury, by the way. He came back and played, James, but he kind of had to tailor his game, and he's a bit more of a withdrawn midfield player. But I think if we'd have got the Mikel as a player before the ACL at Everton, he would be thought of a lot more fondly within our fan base. That's just my own humble opinion. What do you make of that?
Well, I always liked him as a player, Albert. And do you know what? Every time that he was spoken about, especially by Arsene, was that he is going to be a manager one day. Like, this guy gravitates to and I mean, he come to us at a time, we'd just been spun 8-2, wasn't it? He come in the trolley dash with Mertesacker and the rest of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest stories that I remember hearing as soon as we signed him, and I think this was even before I was properly on Twitter back then, and I remember I think I read it in the Gooner or somewhere like that. That's how long ago it was. And Gooner's still great now, by the way. That's not an insult to the Gooner case anyone's sticking me out. I still subscribe now, still read it now. And they said that when he come in, all the players sat within their own nationalities and ate with just the people that were, or they were, he's the French speakers sat with the French speakers, the Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, what the hell is, and he smashed all the tables together, like on his own, like before training and whatever, smashed them all together and was just like, no, we eat as a team and we all integrate as a team. And Arsene was like, oh my God, like he's just signed for me and he's already, this is how I want this. And, a lot of people think he's got that authoritarian style and he's arrogant. Nate, find me a football manager that isn't arrogant. You've got to be a bit arrogant because it's all about the belief.
Yeah.
The problem is, Albert, and again, this can stem into another convo, so I'll try and be as quick as I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on.
There are people. My whole thing with the content that I'm on, and I'm on a wide variety of different podcasts, and I speak to a wide variety of different people, and I love it. I love it. I love being on here with you.
Cheers, man.
Um, and I want Arsenal to do well. That's my whole. But there are
Yeah.
people out there, and I don't care what they want to say, Albert. They want Arteta to do well because they're on that side of that coin where they've banged it and banged it and banged
Yeah.
it, so
Yeah.
they can go one finger up at the people
Yeah.
that hate him,
Yeah.
and then there's the people that are so anti him that want to go. I don't want. There is no Arsenal manager since even when Lundberg had it. I knew Lundberg wouldn't get it permanently, but Mikel Arteta, I would love him to do so well for this club because he's an ex-player and he's an ex-captain. I'd give him more grace than say if we went out and got at the time, I don't know, Carlo Ancelotti, and it didn't go very well. It probably would have done, but the success speaks for itself. However, but if he didn't do as well, you don't have that emotional attachment to the guy. You just go, and you'd follow the models of the Chelseas and the rest of them. And I don't think that's what we've ever wanted to do. I think we've all been about, we want to have a sustained person for a sustained period of time that is going to build and grow something, and without even being biased, we do have the best potential out of any club in the league because we have the youngest team and the youngest manager. So they're either only going to go up you'd hope with age, they're only going to get better.
No, well said. I was something going to say to you. It's completely gone out of my head, so I'll try and remember it and come back. But so yeah, I was going to say with Arteta, what in terms of pros and cons from what you've seen so far, from when he first came to sort of fast forward to the start of this season, what's impressed you, and what is still kind of a negative for you, or something that needs to be worked on?
Okay, so what's impressed me, first and foremost, is just him as a communicator. No disrespect to Unai Emery, he struggled.
100%.
Really, really struggled with it, and the players were taking the mickey out of him. And once you lose the players, Albert, that's it. You don't come back. You don't. It's like at any job that me or you will do. If your manager loses you, you ain't putting in the 100%, mate. You're staying at that low level because especially when I'm going to be here after you've gone, so you crack on, mate, because you think you're a clown, you're going to go, so I'll carry on doing what I'm doing because I'm safe. And I feel like them players might not think they were like that. They were. That in Baku was embarrassing, not just from a manager, but from the players. They didn't want to do. They didn't want to go in for him. That's arguably the worst Arsenal performance I've ever seen in my life, ever. I was embarrassed. I was absolutely embarrassed.
That's one result. That go on, sorry, go on, bro.
Yeah, and that the character of the guy I really like. But again, he's another one, bit like Pep Guardiola, and a guy that I do my podcast with. Mike said it in his new show, Arsenal Above All, is his channel. It's brand new, so if you want to go subscribe to it. It's great. Mike's one of those people. He's like Clive. When he speaks, you listen. He's one of them. Yeah. And he said about emotion, and I was like, he's so spot on. And it goes back to that Man United game when they scored and they went 2-1 up. He chucked everybody on because he thought, look, I'm dominating this game, and I know they've scored, but I can still get the 3 points. And he just emotionally went too far, and he gambled, and it didn't pay off. And there's times where I think he's been too clever, like playing Smith Rowe as a false nine in that Europa semi-final first leg.
Yeah, trying to forget it still.
There's, Xhaka at left back and everything. There's times where I'm like, you don't need to be sweet, just be substance, like Heston Blumenthal, where he makes fish and chip ice cream and all. No, don't muck around. Just give me the Neapolitan or a Cornetto. Like, I don't want fish and chip ice cream.
Let me ask you something quickly. Before I forget. So, I mentioned this last season actually. Where does it get to a point where Arsenal fans don't turn around and go, oh, you know what, by the way, his first job and his inexperience, or where is it sort of in a Richter scale, like between the scale of 1 to 10? Is he just making mistakes because he's stubborn, or he's not learning? Is it, when does this kind of grace go? Where we go, the conversation is not about, it's about inexperience, because this will be,
Oh, I think the love tokens are spent now.
mm,
I think this season, if he does not meet the two criteria, which, let's be fair, as an Arsenal fan, we shouldn't be accepting, but we all do. The argument I always get, Albert, is, oh, if he goes, who are you going to get? What manager would want to manage us? Any of them, because they've only got to get top 4. They'll go, I could do that with them lot. What? I don't even have to win a league. All you want's top 4. Fantastic. Fantastic. I get to live in London, in one of the nicest parts. I've got one of the world's best training grounds. I've got one of the world's best academies. I've been watching that documentary too, by the way, not just the Amazon one. And you know what? I'm like, I've got everything. All I've got to do is get this lot top 4. Bloody hell, I'll take that tomorrow. Pen. Where's the pen? I don't even speak to my agent. Just give me the pen.
Yeah,
he's got to win. He's got to get the Europa League or the top 4. For me, I would like to do both, because I think getting it in the league sets the precedent that you've always got to keep doing this.
100%. And that's the thing. I'm along that trail of thought, mate. I
think we can get both. I'm not I'm not being delusional. I think we can do it.
No, I'm the same trail of thought as you, mate. I was kind of asked a question. I've been asked a question this even this early part of the season. I said, what makes a good season or a great season or whatever? And I said, to be honest with you, not because I'm greedy, but to get top 4 within the league and to win the Europa League. And I'll tell you the significance of winning the Europa League is he would have been able to do something that hasn't been done since Jules Graham. Yeah. That would be massive, not just for the club, but Arsenal in terms of I won't say European heavyweights the right word I use, but you understand, like having a bit more respect around Europe in terms of winning some European silverware. That would be massive for this football club. It'd be massive for him. Well, because then you have to take kudos. There'd be massive kudos to that if it were to happen.
I mean, I was born in '91, so I obviously wasn't old enough to properly remember it. But so there is a generation, especially my lot, that have never seen us win in Europe. All we've ever seen is finals and losses. And that would be humongous. I mean, that would, I think a lot of even the most ardent Arteta out people would have to give him some kudos for that. At least,
James, they would have to, and if they don't, then you know it's
an agenda.
It's agenda, but you do know, exactly. Because to me that would be huge. There's nothing against winning an FA Cup or a League Cup. Listen, the last time I won a League Cup was when KC was playing. Yeah, and that's in '93. That's a long time ago. But I think top 4 in the league and Europa League. I'd be struggling to find any Arsenal fan. I'm sure there'd be a couple somewhere that would be that would pick fault in that. I would, to me, that would be madness. That has to be that. You can't say, yes, you can talk about the league, but that's a completely different conversation. That's another podcast. But yeah, sorry, I remember now, James. What I was saying, what I wanted to say to you before was when you mentioned about Arteta, sort of what Wenger thought of him in terms of potentially being a manager or a coach. And I only came across this the other day when I think Mikel Arteta spoke about when he got that injury at Everton. I think he missed about 43, 48 games till he came back. So he said he had a lot of time to think, and he said that's when he started thinking about getting into coaching and management, and that's in his late 20s. So I don't know if many people knew that, but I didn't know that at the time. I obviously knew about the injury, but I didn't realize when you got a lot of time to think and getting back into fitness, and the fact he's already thinking about it then, probably then Arsene Wenger probably fast forward to when he obviously saw him and thought, wow, like this guy's got potential. So that's the thing, James. With me, as I said to you at the turn of the stream, I'm not sort of I'm not in a camp, because as you pointed to the crest on your badge, it's about what the club are going to do. I'm not a sentimental fan. I'm old enough to be one, but I'm not, because I want what's best for the football club. Sorry, come in, mate. Sorry.
No. You're 100% spot on, and that's the way it should be. That's the way, like you said earlier, it's all about the balance. I've had people come at me for being too pro Arteta, and I've had people come at me for being too negative about Arteta. But I'm like, look, I say how I see it, and how I see it at the moment. I finally see, maybe because it's due to acquisitions, Albert, we got much better players than when he started. That's for damn sure. And I could always say that I could never really see what he wanted to do. Because and then I was like, okay, I think I know what he wants to do, but he hasn't got the players to do it. And then are they going to give him the players to do it? Now he's got everything. I'm like, right, let's go. Let's go. I mean, he's got nowhere to hide. That's the one thing. A lot of people go, I think he's a coward and he hides. He's got nowhere to hide. All these players, he's either renewed or he's bought himself. I'm like, that it's all on him and Edu. It's on both of them. Because just as much as he should feel it as a manager, I'm like, Edu, you got to feel a bit, you might not be safe as well, pal, because you got to get everything spot on. And I mean, there's still people having a go at them for how thin they left it after the deadline. Yes, I would have loved that one extra player. I would have loved him. We haven't got him. We got to roll with what we've got until obviously the Jan. And a lot of people think, oh, nobody's going to expect that Jan's going to be like another summer window, Albert. Trust me. The World Cup is basically Blue Water Shopping Centre for football players. Teams are just walking along. Whoa, what's that in the window? Oh, there's people that you don't look at. James Rodriguez, mate. He scored that one goal for Colombia. Real Madrid, what was it? 65 million the next day.
Amazing tournament. He's just not done. He's not done anything since.
Exactly. But that's what happens. People go mad. They see someone at the World Cup and they buy him.
Madness. It is. So in terms of Arteta, before we sort of come on to the Brentford game, because we don't want to keep you, James, too long. Working hard today. So with the All or Nothing documentary, I'll give you a bit of context for us, sort of get your thoughts on it. I'll be honest, when it was first sort of spoken about, I was like, I'm not really too fussed about watching it, to be honest with you. Then I kind of thought, I will watch it at some point. I'm not going to break my neck to watch it and set the alarm for, when it got released at midnight or whenever the damn documentary was released. But have I necessarily changed my thoughts and ideas about Arteta? Not sure, James, I mean, if you ask me in a month's time, I'll probably have an answer. But for you, was there anything you saw in that documentary that you thought, oh, I didn't know that, or it kind of endeared you to him more, or you kind of still feeling the same before that documentary?
Do you know what? I always thought that some of the players, don't want to say didn't want to play for him or whatever, but I didn't feel like they were as invested with it. But after it, I'm like, oh, no, everyone here is, they are all, when he's hurting, they're hurting. When he's happy, they're, you get that. And I think as well, like you said, especially when he had that injury and everything else, I think he probably had stuff, you got to remember, he was at Barcelona's academy and he couldn't get in, and then he had to go the route that he went. But he was loved at Everton. And I wouldn't say he was, Rangers. I wouldn't say he was extremely loved at Arsenal per se, but he did do things there at Arsenal. He did win FA Cups and everything else. And I think there's probably stuff there that he feels sad about with his own career. And he's like, no, I can live vicariously through these lads and try and do what I couldn't do as a player.
Yeah.
There's the other side of the coin, like Thierry Henry, that went into management and he would get so frustrated because the players weren't doing what he's like, I used to be able to do that. And they're like, but we're not Thierry Henry, boss. We're not you. Like, we can't do that. And I think that's why he stopped, because he's like, I can't get that side of things properly correct. I think he can be a great assistant, but maybe not as a number one, because he just can't accept that people can't be at the level that he is at. And I'm like, but your level is unbelievable, Thierry.
I heard similar.
You're not human.
I heard similar things. What you're saying in regards to, I saw Glenn Hoddle the latter stage of his career when he played manager for Swindon, and obviously when he was at Chelsea. But I hear the same things about him. Like, he was Glenn Hoddle was a player. Like, from what people tell me. When he used to do training sessions or whatever, like, players would be like, well, like, they can't really do that. But for Glenn, it was easy. Like, it's a good comparison. It's true, because I hear the same thing.
Oh, I've heard people from the England squad in '98 that were like, he was embarrassing us even then. And how many years was he out of the game? But
it's true. 10 years or so. Yeah. It's mad. Yeah, it's a good point. But one more thing before we sort of come on to the Brentford game to a little bit is I think you made a really good point in terms of Arsenal's squad being the youngest in the Premier League. And I read off some numbers. You probably know this already, James. So squad average age is 24.3 years old. Average starting 11 is 24.6. And in comparison to the other clubs, and I think this is massive, massive factor that we're a good 3-4 years behind in terms of development and maybe age and experience in the league. Even though some of the guys have been playing this league for a while, i.e. Zinchenko and Ben White and Jesus. But yeah, Chelsea's was 28.8, Man City 27.5, Liverpool 29.4, and Spurs 27. James, that's massive. That's a good 3 or 4 years you're giving up there, mate.
Yeah.
When people start talking about, not all Arsenal fans, some Arsenal fans, before people start losing their mind, when you start talking about league titles, I'm not comfortable with that conversation. Now, yes, I grew up in the era where I've seen the club very, very, very successful, from the old First Division to the Premier League. So I'm used to seeing Arsenal winning league titles, but I also understand that we're a little bit behind the eight ball by quite a bit. Whether you want to look at it from a financial point of view, or the squad depth, or the standard of the players, even in the first 11. So, James, what's your thoughts about in terms of the average age starting? And I think it's a good 3 or 4 years behind, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I think you're spot on. To be fair, I like it because I think there's nothing better than watching players develop, in my opinion, especially ones that come from your academy. There is that love to it. Many years ago, I went on holiday to Amsterdam. Obviously, I won't go into full details. But one of the best things I did was I did the tour of the whole of Ajax as like a complex, and it was unbelievable. You go into like a bar/room, and literally like my wall here, my wall's blank. Right, but they just have photos of everybody, and you look, Albert, and you're like, bloody hell, that one, and they're all ballers like Bergkamp, Overmars, Schneider, Van der Vaart, Ibra, this one, that one. It's unreal. It's just absolutely unreal, and it's like they've all come through your academy, and then they've got better and obviously progressed. And I like that model. I do like that model. However, it's the success that goes with it. And I know we're in completely different, the Dutch league compared to the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%.
Completely different.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people are like, yeah, but we need experience and we need men in there. And I'm like, yeah, but it's got to be the right ones, because we've done these experienced players and these short-term players, and look where they got, someone like Willian, when he come in, okay, when you watch the Fulham game, his debut, you're thinking, oh my word, like Chelsea, you idiots. Little do they know, little did we know. And then it stifled Pepe. And Pepe is a player 100%. Who I believe can produce. I really do. I'm still a fan of Pepe's now, but he's not going to come back. He's not. And do you know what? Go and spam the French league, mate, because it puts your value. We might get a higher bid 100%. In the long run. So go crack on and do what you need to do. And that for me is fine. It's just you've got to get the results with, like, these have got to go from boys to men so quick, so quick. You forget how young Saka is because you feel like he's been in there forever.
21 now, isn't he?
And it's like he's been there, so he feels like he's been in that team for ages, and you want to give him a break. But it's, who do you give him the break for? Because again, it's got to be another person that's either new to the league or it's another kid. And I mean, you look at that Europa game, Marquinhos, if he can do the directness like Pepe does in terms of goals and assists, but he also tracks back and does the work that's underappreciated, I'm happy to see him. Really, really happy. He looks like smart business. I don't want to get ahead of myself after one game, but he does. He does look like smart business.
Yeah, briefly talking about that. What did you make of so we had concentrate on Vieira and Marquinhos. What did you make of what you saw in terms of the cameo of the performances the other night?
Good, tidy. Vieira, when I watch him, I'm just like, you are basically a regen version of Bernardo Silva. The way he moves, I'm like, that's so. It really reminds me of Bernardo, and I'm like, if you can be as good as Bernardo Silva is, pal, wow, because he's arguably one of my favourite players from that ain't in my team. You know,
he's a
I
seriously
love
good
to
footballer.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like when
yeah,
Sane used to play for Man City. I'd be like, oh, is Man City on the telly? Yeah, oh, I'll watch that to watch Sane play. Love him. It's just I like watching you play.
yeah, yeah,
And I was happy, man. I was happy. It's for me, the only problem was when he brought the experienced players on. That's when it seemed to dip. The people that were, you know, kids / the second string, they seem to be like, no, we're handling this. Like, why are you switching it up?
But no, I was like I said, I was generally quite. I was looking forward to seeing them both play because obviously I didn't know too much about Vieira, to be honest, even when we bought him. Unless, you know, all these Arsenal fans who decided to come out of the woodwork on social media and say they've been watching him for quite a long time. I'll take that with a pinch of salt, man. To be honest with
On
you.
what? On
Yeah.
what? The Hubble? Like, what they got? They got the Hubble at the house. Like, how are you watching it?
Yeah. Oh no, and that's for Marquinhos. I listened to you know who this is, James, Tim Vickery, and the South American correspondent for BBC. So yeah, he made the comparison that he's similar to Douglas Costa, and he's actually got he's actually got the same kind of build, to be honest, as well. I was like, this is scary, but yeah, brilliantly taken goal, man. Listen, I don't care how close it was to the goal. That was a finish, man. Top bins on his weaker foot, but he looks promising, and you know they seem to be quite buoyed by his development for what they've seen already at Arsenal. So listen, if that's the case, then he does need to come in gradually into the team and just give Saka a bit more, not a kick up the backside is the right word, but just to know that your place isn't always certain. Because I think G's mentioned this. G talks mentioned this he was in the chat, mentioned this before, that even if Saka play poor for enough, like 2-3 games in a row, he knows he's going to play. That's not how you really want it to work. You want it to be competition and to realize that there's a guy over my shoulder sort of thing. Come in, mate. Sorry.
Well, no, Saka this season's been getting a lot of flack, mate. He really has, because I know that he hasn't been at the level that we're so used and accustomed to him being at. However, he's still getting assists. He's still producing on the pitch.
It was good against United, I thought.
So I'm like, if this is Saka when he's quote unquote crap, and he's still getting assists and goals, I can't wait to see him when he's brilliant, mate. Because if this is him when he's crap, then God knows what he's going to be like when he's good.
James, to be fair to him, I would say a little bit in the Villa game, he looked quite sharp when he first started that for 15-20 minutes.
Yes, he did.
And I thought United he played really, really well.
Yeah, second half he was incredible.
Yeah, he gave Malacia a torrid time, personally, I thought. But yeah, listen, he'll get better. He's still young. He's been a fixture in his team now, really, for effectively 2 and a bit years now. So, listen, onwards and upwards, man. But James, one more thing to talk about before we depart this Thursday evening and Albert JTV's weekly surgery. Brentford on Sunday, which was always a scheduled game anyway, but the only difference has changed is the time. What's your immediate thoughts and feelings come Sunday, my friend?
I think that's you've took the words out of my mouth. And I've seen a lot of people 3-1, 4-1. No.
I've got that down as a draw.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to get the win, but it's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough. For me, I watch Gabriel, especially when he's against a physically imposing striker, and he don't like it, mate. He don't like it. When he plays Antonio, he gets wobbly. You saw him against Mitrovic when he gave the penalty away when they were last in the Prem. You saw him against Mitrovic. Mitrovic the other week wasn't getting any joy out of Saliba, so he went, I'm going to move because I'm going to try this guy. Because I can't get nothing out of this young lad. I'm going to try the other one. And he did. He got him. He done him. He took the heavy touch in it. And I think Ivan Toney, if he's doing his research, and he'll be buoyed because he's just got his England call up.
Yes.
He'll be like, I might not get any joy out of it. Same as Mitrovic. I might not get any joy out of the young boy, but I think I'll have a go with you. And just the set pieces still worry me. You know, I saw that corner that Aston Villa scored from, and
that should never have happened.
Yeah, I've still got slight reservations there, but I think we'll muck through, but it's not going to be pretty, Albert. It really is not going to be pretty. And they better win because it's my birthday Sunday as well. So
Oh, Jays, happy birthday for Sunday, man.
thank you, man.
But yeah, I think I had that when I looked at the run of games at the time. I had that down for a draw. I
Mm,
couldn't. I think we owe them obviously for last season, and we obviously saw in a documentary when Mikel Arteta brought the tweet from Ivan Toney.
yeah.
Yeah, bring it up again if it helps to come Sunday. Yeah, we've got some exercise from demons going there, but yeah, I've got it for a draw. They've got some good players with Tony, Vissa, Mbomo, who's very, 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 very tricky customer. So
Mm,
away at their ground, been to their stadium actually. I went there for one of the women's Euros games. Yeah, neat little stadium, man, Brentford Community
yeah.
Stadium. But yeah, mate, I'm not saying that we listen. I love us to go there and win, but yeah, I think we'll get a draw. I think we'll get a score draw personally.
Mm.
So we'll see.
See, for me, I worry because last season when we lost, we started to lose in those clusters. And
Yeah,
this run, I'm like, we can't keep, I can't go Man United loss, Summit against Brentford, then them lot, then
we have to
Liverpool.
bounce back. Yeah,
I'm like, in the league, I'm like, just come on, you know, keep going. I think if we muddle through, against Fulham, it was a bit scrappy at times, but we got
yeah.
over the line. If we can do that heading into the derby, I think that'd be brilliant. And then
No.
they look like they're in a bit of turmoil. Could be a good time for us to play them. Them lot are lapping it up, thinking, "Oh, Arsenal have had a loss. It's great. It's time. It's for us to play them." What was it? Conte punched Kuvalevsky, or whatever his name is, the other night, didn't he?
Kulusevski,
I
yeah,
I didn't know if he had a bag. I only saw the highlights. I thought if
yeah,
you're going
yeah,
to hit any of them, it's Royale you got to hit, surely. I don't know what Kulusevski's done if he's the one who got punched. But yeah, I'm like, he don't want to renew his contract and he's smacking
yeah.
the players. I'm like, ooh, okay, this is tasty. But it was
Oh,
always going to happen.
yeah,
I
yeah,
always
yeah.
said, like, he ain't going to be with you more than. They're like, no, he's long term. I'm like, no, he's not.
No,
I
no.
said
If
he'll
you
be.
look
I
at
said he'll be at
Conte's career,
Juventus in a couple of weeks.
yeah. If you look at Conte's career, no. That guy doesn't stay very often, man.
No.
No, there's a
No.
there's a there's a similar pattern with this guy when he's at clubs, man. You don't get what he wants, he's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, James, man, absolute pleasure, man, to have you on, man. People in the chat, if you haven't already, obliterate the like button. James, you have got your channel, so you need to give it a good old plug, mate. Where can the people find you,
Yes.
man?
So it's just James Johnston Football. So it's my full name and then football. How hard was that to think, by the way? It took me ages looking up that. But that's it. Yeah. And I do obviously Arsenal, and then I do the whole Premier League. And I will say I do not give a biased tint. I do praise all the other clubs. I don't dig them out,
Yeah.
because
No.
before I was
God.
an Arsenal fan, I was a football fan. I love the whole game.
Well said. Well said. That's true, James. You've been an absolute pleasure to get your debut on Albert J TV, man. But no, you definitely get you back on again, man. 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So people, like I say, go and subscribe to James's channel. And obviously, audio listeners, you will never be forgotten. So this will go on the Spotify and Anchor. So, like I always say, you can hear my dulcet tones, man. Not dulcet tones, people.
Yeah.
As I've
Don't want
been
to get them
told.
confused.
No. Don't want to get them confused. So people, yeah, we've got a big game come Sunday. Hopefully, oh yeah, of course. Obviously, Thomas Partey's back in training as well, full training. Would you start him, or is this, or you go very cautious with that?
He's going to play the 2 games for Ghana, start him. Ghana ain't going to rest him, so play him. Take the risk.
Yeah, I mean, we heard that he was in the Ghana squad even before we found out that he
Exactly.
was.
Exactly.
So,
They're going to play him, so
like,
we might as well play him as well. That's how it is.
yeah, listen, he's very important to us, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and do you
it's a
know what? I
concern.
think Lukonga's done all right. I haven't, there were times against United positionally where I was like, oh, you're a bit ropey still there, but you're learning. And again, like I said earlier, with the younger players, you forgive some of it because you're like, you know what, you're probably going to get better in the long run. So I can take some of it.
Yeah.
I can swallow some, but some I can't, and everything else. And yeah, but no, he's too much. He's too progressive. He's so much progressive for that midfield, mate. And I think Xhaka's better with him. I think that's one thing I will say. He's made Granit Xhaka a better player.
Particularly in Xhaka's new role, isn't it? He's like the Francisco Totti of North
Exactly.
London now.
Love it.
But Jay's, man, it's been an absolute pleasure, man, to have you on, man. And like I said, audio listeners,
Thank
this will
you.
be out later. But people, that is as your host, Albert J TV Weekly Surgery. Come subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And big up to the people. Thank you for your messages. For I've got the fantastic Tom White on from Sky Sports News. last Friday.
Yeah.
He was. I knew he'd be brilliant, but he was even better when speaking to him even before the live stream and after the live stream. So people
That
you
was a
haven't
good
seen that,
show. It was a very good show.
thank you. Live stories has been it's been the content series I've really enjoyed, and Tom was top class, man. Who knows? I might have him back on again. Who knows? But he's a busy man, Tom. So we'll
Get him
see.
to get you on Sky, mate. Do it that way. He owes you. He owes you.
There's baby steps for that one, yeah. But no, I appreciate the plug, man. But yeah, Tom was fantastic. But people, go and check it out if you haven't already. And that is me, Albert JTV, over and out for episode 15. Take care, people.